As Wanlinger's spirit beasts appeared, they stood in front of her as protection. The machine of the Qin family seemed exhausted. What's this? You want to protect your master? But that's the very reason she agreed to this, he said. Ling Hu took the lead to explain, no, we will not let our master go back on her word. We simply want to take her place and accept any punishment from you. He pressed further, even if your master forces you to fight, you still won't bear the consequences for her. Ling Lang couldn't contain his emotions and replied, we are truly angry, but at the end of the day, she is still our master. We can't bear to see her suffer, so please spare our master. Treat us however you wish. Wanlinger covered her mouth, overwhelmed with emotion and unable to speak. Everyone could see how weak she was. She had to rely on her summoned beast to shield her once again. Spotting a favorable deal, he hesitated no longer. I'm willing to trade 1 for 3, but you are spirit bodies. How am I supposed to handle that? Lingyu acted as if he were her master, saying, Master, use that. It should work. Wanlinger suddenly understood. Ah, I know what to do now. She formed a seal and cast the spell. Spirit separation technique. Qin Yuan suddenly felt like he had broken through the barriers of the universe, his mind soaring through different worlds. He was amazed to see his body and himself separate. Instinctively, he wondered, what's happening? Wanlinger explained, this is the spirit separation technique from our sect. It allows the soul of a being to temporarily leave the body. You can say you're in a spirit body state. Excited to test it out, he joked, really? I can touch them now. This feels so different from being human. But Qin Yuan's hands were not very respectful, leaving spiritual Crane feeling quite embarrassed. Please don't touch those strange places. He then prepared to escort the ladies elsewhere. If that's the case, I'll take them to another room to carefully study how to unite spirit and body. You wouldn't mind, would you? At that point, Wanlinger seemed to lose everything. She fell to her knees, feeling like a husband who had sold his wife and helplessly watched her suffer. All she could do was sit there crying. Oh, I'm truly sorry to you all, sob. She began to reminisce, Linger is starting today. You will become a beastmaster. Pick a spirit beast that you like. Linger's eyes were filled with affection as she said, I want everything. From that moment, she grew up alongside her spirit beasts. They shared meals, slept, and lived together like family. They practiced together, battled side by side, and faced life and death together. But now I can only stand by and watch as you are oppressed. How can I accept this? Owner, a voice called out from the room, snapping her back to reality. They're calling for me. Wait, I'm coming to save you all. Wanlinger bravely pushed the door open and declared, I am willing to accept your punishment. Let my spirit beasts go. At that moment, her spirit beasts were not in the suffering state she had imagined. They were happy and content, lying beside Qin Yuan. They joyfully called out, Owner. Yes, Owner Qin Yuan. Hearing this, Wanlinger was taken aback. Why are you calling him your owner? The spirit beasts began to speak evasively. Even though we call them owner in our hearts, you are the only true owner. That's right, it's just an act. Our hearts have always been with you. Please don't be jealous of him. He forced us to do this. Seeing their expressions, she obviously didn't believe them. You're all spirit bodies. What could possibly happen to your physical forms? It's exhausting to worry about you all like this. Clearly, you're enjoying yourselves. She didn't realize that Ling Lang and Ling Hu had appeared behind her. You are right. We share both blessings and troubles together. Master, you should use the spirit separation technique. Ling Hu raised his hand and cast a spell, freeing Wanlinger's spirit. Finally, her spirit landed in Qin Yuan's embrace. If her spirit beasts are really thinking about you, I don't mind having one more person call me master. Wanlinger pounded in his arms. Don't get ahead of yourself. My spirit won't easily compromise. No matter what you do, I won't call you. Half an hour later, Wanlinger was a different person. Master, please give me a bit more of your spirit power. Qin Yuan gently advised her, you already received a lot. Just wait until you fully digest these gifts. Your strength will definitely improve greatly. Plus, this isn't the end yet. Wanlinger looked downcast, fearing this might be the last time. The martial arts of castellan Yi Dao were unmatched. Even the indestructible body technique was hardly able to withstand it. Besides, you're just a frail young man. He reassured her, don't worry, I've come up with a way to deal with her. I just need you to give me that idea. She was anxious. What idea can I give you? Qin Yuan, with a mysterious smile, replied, you'll find out tomorrow. The system announced the unlocking of the character card for Wanlinger. Wanlinger, rated 4 stars, comes with a special skill, Spirit Separation Technique. The next day, at the martial arts arena in front of the city gate, the announcer welcomed everyone to the Castellan Challenge. The Castellan Challenge is about to begin. The winner will earn the honorable title of Castellan. There are no rules today. Anything goes. Life or death, it doesn't matter. Yi Dao stood opposite Qin Yuan, sneering, I never thought you'd actually show up to fight. You must be ready to be buried here, right? Qin Yuan held his ground confidently. Sorry, but I have no intention of dying. There are still so many delicious foods to try, beautiful sights to see, and lovely ladies for me to meet in this world. Too bad, too bad. In this life, you'll never get the chance to make friends with a beauty. Saya Yi Dao shot back. Qin Yuan was as usual. Who says I'm not currently flirting with the beautiful castellan Yi Dao? She picked up the king long knife and said, Humph, let's see if your smooth talk can hold up when your head gets chopped off. Qin Yuan took a defensive stance. Then I look forward to your guidance. The referee began to announce, not wanting to keep everyone waiting. I now declare the match officially begins. Qin Yuan, taking advantage of his speed, made the first move. Using the same trick as before, he struck with a knife, tearing Sine Yi Dao's clothes in several places. Qin Yuan couldn't hide his glee. It was so easy, I'm surprised. Castellan Yi Dao, get ready. Soon, you'll be all slick and shiny. Sine Yi Dao stood there calmly. What are you so proud of? Did you notice? I intentionally didn't dodge your attack. Qin Yuan still didn't get it. What are you talking about? She took off her cloak. I already ordered that during today's match, no men are allowed in. Everyone except you is female, so what does it matter if they see? As the Castellan, I have to be straightforward and carefree. The women in the audience roared with excitement. The Castellan has such an amazing figure. The best Castellan truly is worthy of being the Castellan. She seemed to have a firm grasp on victory. Your techniques merely exploit the embarrassment of women. It's a pity. I don't possess such emotions. Even fighting shirtless is not a problem. Qin Yuan continued to ponder. Even if they are all women, are you not afraid of being seen naked by a man like me? She simply responded, as long as I can take you to meet the Grim Reaper, that's enough. Her king long knife immediately shone. Let me give you a taste of my ultimate skill. She leaped high and executed her move, producing a whipping sound. Countless blade lights slashed out, flying towards Qin Yuan, yet he remained unmoved. The judges below continued to comment enthusiastically. This technique is the ultimate skill of Castellan Yi Dao, and so far, no one has been able to withstand this move. Qin Yuan immediately activated his indestructible body skill. Crack, crack, his blade had broken. With a loud bang, the sound echoed everywhere, and Qin Yuan emerged, battered. This sword technique is too fast, truly worthy of its reputation. Tai Yi Dao felt a hint of meaning in his words. Being able to withstand this strike without dying, you are the first. Unfortunately, after this one slash, your life will be over. Qin Yuan began to fight back. Then come here and try this move. You fool them, you understand? A weak man can never bridge the gap of physical strength between men and women. With a snap, she easily caught his hand, but Qin Yuan was a trickster. Lately fist, her spirit immediately flew out. In this spirit state, she was shocked. What? What's happening? This is Ling Fist, a technique to separate one's soul from their body. Qin Yuan formed a seal. Spirit separation technique, and his soul also flew out. Sia Yi Dao still couldn't believe it. Absurd. How could this be? The audience above was chattering strangely. Why are they moving? What's going on here? Wanlinger in the stands sighed in relief. Thankfully, those who haven't specialized in cultivation can't see the spirit body. Qin Yuan, you must seize this opportunity. Sia Yi Dao was no longer calm. What is your purpose in doing this? He expressed his thoughts. I was just thinking, if physical fighting doesn't lead to victory, what if everyone turned into spirit bodies instead? She reacted angrily. The weak will always be weak. No matter what, you could never surpass me. Continuing the fight, Sia Yi Dao unleashed a strike filled with all her fury. Qin Yuan raised his hand to defend. With a gentle push, he deflected her attack, causing the blade's light to shatter and scatter in the wind. She gasped in disbelief, astonished. How can you break my technique with just your bare hands? This is impossible. How can an ordinary man have such strength? Qin Yuan, not hesitating, leaped in to counterattack, saying, Now it's my turn. She stood there, stunned, clearly still in shock. He gave her a gentle slap, filled with his deep affection for her. Sia Yi Dao remained still, silent, and unresponsive. After the slap, Qin Yuan felt a bit guilty and thought, oh no, putting such immense pressure on her, isn't that a bit too much for a girl? At this moment, she was feeling wrong like a fragile little girl. It hurts so much. You are too much. No one has ever hit me like this before. Seeing this, he helplessly asked, has this girl been wounded in her sense of self-esteem? A you appeared to remind him, Qin Yuan, hurry up and take action. Now is the opportunity to remove her seal. Qin Yuan became alert and agreed, understood. He approached to negotiate. Castellan Yi Dao, you should know that in this state, you are not my opponent. Therefore, I will give you two choices. The first is to continue fighting. No matter how many times you strike me, I will return it tenfold. She didn't need to think and immediately reacted. No, I choose the second option. Qin Yuan seized the opportunity and shamelessly continued. The second option is that for every stab you give me, I will retaliate with 1,000 times the number of stabs. She was frightened, her eyes brimming with tears. You, what do you intend to do? There are so many people watching here. He comforted her, don't worry. In our spirit body state, ordinary people cannot see us. He snapped his fingers and activated the spirit costume changes skill. Tsai Dao was immediately changed into a white rabbit outfit, and she was surprised, saying, This is embarrassing. You're scolding Qin Yuan for making me wear such a humiliating costume. Qin Yuan laughed slyly. Humiliating, but there's still more to come. As she was spirit-bound, the sexy white rabbit girl found her hands tied by Qin Yuan, who slowly approached her. What followed was a scene of strict punishment for losing the match. In the audience, a little girl noticed her mother and exclaimed, Mom, the lady with the rabbit ears is being bullied by that big brother over there. Naturally, the girl's mother didn't believe her, responding, What are you talking about? They're just standing still. Sitting nearby and overhearing the conversation, Wan Ling-er felt a bit uneasy, thinking, This child's intuition is pretty strong. I hope she doesn't get the wrong idea. An hour later, both Qin Yuan and Xia Yidao remained motionless. As time passed, the audience began to feel bored. Some in the crowd grumbled, What are they even doing? They've been standing there forever. This is so dull, I'm getting sleepy. Lu Chunyu, sitting next to Wan Ling-er, asked, Have they really been standing still for an hour? Is this some kind of contest to see who can endure it longer? The only person who could see the situation said, No, right now, Qin Yuan has the upper hand. Castellan Yi Dao can only hold on, and she might soon lose consciousness. How can Lu Chunyu believe this? Ha! Is it really true? Are you just guessing? Why can't I see anything? Wan Ling-er then used her magic on herself to open her spiritual eye. At that moment, a symbol in the shape of an eye appeared on Lu Chunyu's forehead. When she saw what was hidden, she felt a mix of embarrassment and surprise, exclaiming, Wow, it's true. That haughty woman is really in such trouble. Xie Dao, having lost her pride, asked seductively, Are you still okay? Qin Yuan replied seriously, You and Chunyu are not the same. It seems your seal is hidden deeper. I can sense it. He took out a magical artifact and warned Xie Dao, preparing himself. This will be. Then he drove the spirit weapon into her. Castellan Yi Dao gasped, trembling uncontrollably. The light from their seals illuminated the entire arena, shooting straight up into the sky and forming a bright pillar. The strong light and its shockwaves surprised everyone around. Ha! What's going on? What's this light? Lu Chunyu immediately realized the second seal has also been broken. This man can do it. In another space where a Yu was, a sealing chain on her hand shattered. She opened her eyes, waking up satisfied. Looks like it was successful, huh? You certainly didn't disappoint me. Qin Yuan also appeared in this space. Hey, I have obtained the feminine charm of Xia Yi Dao. Next, I'll rely on you. She approached to encourage him. You worked hard. You truly are the man that I resonate with. She leaned in closer. The tidal power of the moon, you must feel it deeply. A Yu used her lips to draw in the yin energy for Qin Yuan so he could cultivate smoothly. System notification. Character unlocked. Xia Yi Dao. Xia Yi Dao. 5-star rank. Skill. Whipping sound. After a while, Xia Yi Dao suddenly woke up. This is back in my body. She looked around suspiciously. Qin Yuan stood opposite as if he had been waiting for a long time. This protection match was probably one that I had lost. She sighed, accepting the reality. I have lost. The audience hearing this news felt as if there was a magnitude 12 earthquake. What? Did you hear that? Castellan Yi Dao, she has admitted defeat. I can't be hearing this wrong, right? What on earth happened? She turned to leave. According to the rules, the position of Castellan will belong to you from now on. You will meet again later. Qin Yuan felt something was off in his mind. This girl actually admitted defeat. That's not like her at all. Don't tell me. In a pond, several koi fish were swimming about happily. Xia Yi Dao was standing by the pond, thinking about something. She still found it hard to accept the truth. I really lost, and moreover, I lost to a man. Qin Yuan suddenly hugged her from behind. Xia Yi Dao stopped, and she accidentally slipped and fell into the pond. She looked at Qin Yuan in surprise. You, what are you doing? He replied absently, I thought you were going to commit suicide. She felt it was a bit ridiculous. Why would I want to commit suicide? Do you think I, Xia Yi Dao, am someone who is that weak? Besides, who would commit suicide in such a shallow pond? Fool! Qin Yuan was scolded and had nothing to retort. She continued to tease, and besides, you've won. Why aren't you sitting in your castellan seat and coming to find me? He babbled nonsense again. The position of castellan is nothing compared to worrying about you. I didn't defeat you just for that position. Qin Yuan was suddenly pushed down by her. What are you trying to do? Xia Yi Dao hovered above him. You defeating me? Are you kidding? That was just a trick. In a real physical fight, you wouldn't stand a chance against me. Qin Yuan, lying on the ground, proposed a rematch. Humph. Then let's go one-on-one again and see who loses first. Xia Yi Dao immediately agreed. Back at the arena, I just didn't have experience. Now I can face you with my full strength. You better be prepared. Qin Yuan offered a small piece of advice. Wait a second, are you going in directly? I think you should take it slow before we compare. Then their argument echoed around them. What do you mean? Didn't I just say you should slow down a bit? But you're too late now, you fool. I'm not tricking you. This time it's about physical strength. Shut up, shut up. After that, based on their previous agreement, Su Jiang successfully rose to the position of castellan. We will rest and recover, then follow the original plan and embark on our journey to break the seal once again. Qin Yuan happily chatted with Lu Chunyu. I'm really being gracious here. You're stuffing us with so much travel money. It looks like the next leg of our journey will be a lot easier. Whether it'll actually be easier, I don't know. However, one thing is a bit different. She turned to Xia Yi Dao behind her and scolded. Why are you coming along with us? I'm no longer the castellan. Staying here doesn't make much sense. It might be better to go out and blow off some steam. Plus, having a weak guy like you around is just a burden for her. Having someone like me to help protect him would make things a little lighter. That made sense, and Lu Chunyu agreed with his viewpoint. Qin Yuan turned around and said, I mean, you two should keep it down when you're talking. Don't underestimate my hearing, okay? Xia Yi Dao provided a more reasonable argument. As a castellan, I have much more money than someone like you, who declares himself a king in the mountains. This gold card can be exchanged for money at any currency exchange, ensuring our next journey will be worry-free. Lu Chunyu seized the opportunity and replied, being an official really does pay better than being a thief. How much have you embezzled? Xia Yi Dao shot back in anger. Don't compare me to those who rely on their tums and tricks to become officials. Everything I've earned is from my own strength in the arena. Otherwise, how could the people in the city support me like this? Qin Yuan stepped in to mediate, saying, all right, both of you. The journey ahead is long. Instead of bickering, let's think about what to do next. Do we really need a plan with the around? Little did they know, someone was watching them from the shadows. A figure in a black cloak smiled as they observed. Half a day later, the three of them, Qin Yuan included, were resting by a campfire. Xia Yi Dao picked up a piece of hard bread and complained, this is way too hard to eat. Lu Chunyu advised her, at least we have food. This isn't your castellany, so just make do and eat. Qin Yuan figured they wouldn't be able to eat well, so he suggested, there's a stream nearby and plenty of wildlife around. How have you two go catch some fish to improve our meal? Lu Chunyu volunteered, I'll go first. I've lived in the mountains for many years, so hunting isn't a problem. But who among you can cook? The two responded proudly, I don't know. Of course I don't know. So what's the point of improving the meal? Besides, if you can't cook, what's there to be proud of? Qin Yuan stepped in to mediate, don't get upset. While I can't cook, I can find someone to help. She's an expert in the kitchen. He pulled out a special summoning token and said, Fangling King fight. Fangling King appeared in a puff of smoke and looked around surprised. Xia Yi Dao and Lu Chunyu were even more shocked. What? How did a living person appear here all of a sudden? Who is this woman? Qin Yuan quickly replied, I'll explain the details later. In short, this Sister Fang is skilled in everything, so tonight's dinner is definitely in good hands with her. Fangling King shot him an annoyed look. You summoned me just to be your cook. Two people were gathering ingredients. One of them said, forget it. No matter what you say, if you really call someone for help, we'll just use fewer ingredients for cooking. I hope your cooking skills are as beautiful as your face. After the two left, Fangling King continued asking, let me ask you, why did you call for me in this situation? He replied with a clear expression, didn't I just say? Because in the immortal realm, your cooking skills are the best. If that girl Su-Han comes, we won't know what kind of dark dish she would prepare. At that moment in the host domain space, Yun, Su-Han sneezed. Oh, Yang Xuan asked her, are you okay? She replied, I'm fine. Maybe someone is talking bad about me. Compared to that, Yun Su-Han presented a plate of food that looked quite terrifying. Professor Oh Yang, this is the dish I meticulously prepared. You should taste it and see how it is. Ao Yang Xuan was shocked. Wow, that's so creative. Back to Fangling King, he said. That's not what I meant. What I mean is that when you are in danger, you summon others for help. When you summoned me, nothing happened. Clearly, I could help as well. Qin Yuan approached to comfort her, saying the battlefield doesn't always have to be a place of fighting. Sister Fang, you have a different kind of battlefield that's more fitting. As he spoke, he reached out to touch her belly. Qin Yuan, you, she stammered. He quickly denied it. You can't blame me. Why did Sister Fang have to dress like that, making it so hard for me to hold back? Fang Lane was breathing heavily as she replied, in this paradise, it's all women. I'm the most simply dressed one here. Qin Yuan began to charm her. Sister Fang, right now I'm very hungry. While we wait for the other two to come back, and you prepare a small meal for me. Fang Ling King innocently responded, but I didn't bring any food with me. He munched on a peach while saying, who said I wanted regular food? What I want is a true delicacy, so I won't hold back. Then he started on his first dish. 20 minutes later, Qin Yuan wiped the sweat from his brow. Thanks, Sister Fang, for the treat. Consider it an appetizer before the main meal. Fang Ling King, sitting by the tree while fixing her clothes. Grumble, how rude, suddenly doing that. I'm so embarrassed. Suddenly, a knife was pressed against her throat. Don't move, said a man in black, teasing them. Looks like you two are having a lot of fun, huh? Qin Yuan's face darkened. Don't harm her. What do you want to do? The guy laughed and said, don't worry. We only want to capture people, not to take lives. A good item like this, if taken to Chunxiang brothel, will surely sell for a good price. Qin Yuan was really angry. Let her go. I absolutely will not allow you to harm her, even a single hair on her head. Fang Ling King was mesmerized by that statement. A Yuan. The guy used her to threaten Qin Yuan. If you don't want her to get hurt, they'll obediently come with us quickly. He was so surprised he froze. Ha! The guy looked at him like he was a fool. Nonsense, why would I kidnap a woman? Chunxiang brothel specializes in taking in handsome men from all over the world for women to enjoy, and besides, the treatment is very good. 2 women appeared behind Qin Yuan, so I advise you to be sensible, lest you suffer. That's right. I also don't want to harm this handsome guy. Qin Yuan delivered a classic line. In broad daylight, to forcefully take a man, is there still any law? The guy didn't care, then I truly apologized. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being a weak man. All right, this is the final warning. Now obediently come with us, otherwise this little lady's pretty face will not be preserved. Fang Ling King started to speak seriously. Don't worry about me. The kidnapper didn't understand what she was saying. She was truly angry and was about to take action. A Yuan, this time it's my turn to protect you. Qin Yuan hurriedly stopped her. All right. Don't you want someone? That's easy to arrange. You all let my wife go and I'll come with you, okay? He winked at Fang Ling King. Fang Ling King caught the signal at the same frequency. The 2 women behind stepped forward and tied him up. Consider yourself fortunate. Don't worry, a handsome guy like you will be well taken care of by the clients. Qin Yuan was happy, thinking this was probably a branch mission. It couldn't be wasted, and it also spared Sister Fang from getting hurt. Then let's go. And he was led away by the 2. Fang Ling King remained resolute in her heart. Hey Yuan, do you have a plan? It's fine. No matter what, I will save you. The person behind suddenly covered her mouth with a cloth. He whispered, just sleep peacefully for a while. Here, these are sleeping pills. Seeing the person in a coma, he continued, wait until your husband is completely exploited. He might just be released to come back and find you. The grand and imposing building was Chunxiang brothel, as the trafficker had mentioned. Inside this brothel, delicate-looking men welcomed the women. In one of the rooms at Chunxiang brothel, a beautiful woman was sitting and chatting. Isn't today the day for new arrivals? Why are you suddenly here? Is there some good merchandise? The trafficker across from her smiled. That's right. We've been watching for days to catch him. No need for more words, 100,000 taels, hand over the money, and we'll hand over the person. Of course, the madam wasn't ready to agree. 100,000 taels? Are you here just to amuse me? The most expensive we have right now is only 5,000 taels. He pulled Qin Yuan closer and said, isn't he worth 10 times that? Why don't you check for yourself? The madam began to inspect the goods. I've seen countless handsome men. I want to see what kind of man could be worth 100,000 taels. She gasped when she saw Qin Yuan's face. Her heart raced, thinking to herself, I've evaluated so many men and have long been indifferent. But why is it that when I look into his eyes, my heart starts beating so strangely? The human trafficker began urging, so, is this man worth 100,000 taels or not? If Chunxiang brothel does not accept him, I can sell them to another house. Shi Liu immediately took out a check. Here is a check for 100,000 taels. Take it. I want this man. The trafficker immediately took off. Thank you, Shi Liu. Then I will take my leave. She began to observe Qin Yuan more closely. He was indeed a handsome man. Just 100,000 taels, and within a year it could be made back. Qin Yuan calmly made a request. If there's nothing else, could you please help me untie these ropes? He cursed silently to himself. You are kidding me? In a year, 100,000 taels? Do you think I am a dairy cow at a factory or something? Of course, untying me is not a problem, but don't think about running away. Being able to be with a beautiful woman like Shi Liu, I would be delighted. How could I think about running away? Moreover, I am just a man. How can I be a match for her? Shi Liu was extremely satisfied. Consider yourself clever. Just free from his bindings, he immediately began to inquire about his situation, thanking Shi Liu. But where exactly was he? You bought me, so what you want me to do now? Shi Liu replied softly, This is Chunxiang Brothel, home to the most beautiful men in the world. This is a place for women to indulge in pleasure. With your handsome looks, I'm sure you understand what kind of work you'll be doing here, right? He pretended to be innocent. I'm just a young guy who doesn't know much about that kind of thing. I'm afraid I won't be able to help Shi Liu make any money. She brushed this off. Don't worry, I have instructors who specialize in training men. Mei Lan, Zhu, come in. The four of them immediately entered. What does Shi Liu need from us? She pushed Qin Yuan away. I'm giving you a day to teach him how to please women. Don't mess him up, it's all about the money. The other's eyes sparkled with excitement. Oh, we've seen many handsome men, but none have made us feel this way. They started to take action. I can't wait to teach you. Qin Yuan, still in character, said, Ladies, I have something to discuss. I'm afraid he might not be able to handle this. Two people behind him encouraged, Don't worry, we'll take it easy on you. At that moment, he revealed his true nature, saying, I'm not worried about myself. I'm afraid you all won't be able to handle it. When he pulled a weapon out from his pants, the women were taken aback. Wow, that's quite big. Then, cries for mercy began to fill the air. Madame sat there, lost in thought, waiting for the trembling to be properly taught a lesson. It was rare for her to. We returned to the forest. Hey, wake up, come on, wake up. Feng Ling Ting was gradually coming to. Lu Chun Yu quickly asked, What happened? Where's Qin Yuan? Feng Ling King replied hurriedly, He was taken away. We have to go rescue him. Xia Yi Dao reassured her. Don't panic. Just tell us what happened. I'm not very familiar with this place, but if it's someone I know, we should at least have a chance. Feng Ling King collected herself and said, I heard those people mention they were taking him to a place called the Chunxiang Brothel. Tai Yi Dao furrowed his brow and said, Chunxiang Brothel, if Qin Yuan gets sold there, it really could be a problem. Humph, I should have suspected it was those people. Lu Chun Yu asked curiously, I've heard that name before. What exactly is that place? It's a place where women seek pleasure, specializing in collecting handsome men from around the world. It's said that the men there have to serve clients endlessly. Once they're used up, their value is carelessly discarded. Lu Chun Yu imagined that scenario and replied, with Qin Yuan's looks, could it be? It's been a long time since they had goods like him to enjoy. Come on, I've already paid 10 times. Not a single one can go missing. Just picture Qin Yuan trembling on the bed. No, don't let that happen. Chun Yu quickly added, This is urgent. We need to go rescue him right away. If we wait too long, he might end up like one of those discarded objects. Xia Yi Dao disagreed. Chunxiang Brothel must have some serious backing to stay strong. Besides, their clients are either rich or powerful. It's a classic case where a strong force won't easily be crushed by a weaker one. If we just rush in, I'm afraid it won't be that simple. Lu Chun Yu sighed. So what should we do now? We can't just wait like this, right? Feng Ling Ting came up with an idea. Well, if that's the case, I have an idea. I don't know if it's feasible, but Feng's sister, feel free to speak frankly. I come from a different place than you all. Based on what I've just heard, it seems that here you have absolute female authority. If that's the case regarding places of entertainment like Chunxiang Brothel, if we could disguise ourselves as customers, we should be able to meet Qin Yuan openly and honestly. We just need a little trickery. Xia Yi Dao raised another concern. This idea isn't bad. However, until now, we have never had experience going to such places. Won't it be very easy to be exposed? Feng Ling King patted her chest. Leave this to me. I can do it. The next day, at Chunxiang Brothel, the three of them entered. She played the role of a seasoned customer. I mean, there isn't even a reception room. Is this how Chunxiang Brothel welcomes guests? The madam, with a smiling face, came to greet them. I'm sorry. Business has been so busy that I've delayed welcoming the three beautiful ladies. So can I, the owner, treat you three? Madam led three people to the tea room. She said, I don't know what kind of men the three of you prefer, but at Chunxiang Brothel, we have all kinds. Lu Chun Yu blurted out, We want to find Qin. Feng Ling Ting quickly interrupted, Of course we want the best. Don't worry. How many tails do you need? We can pay for as many as you have. Xia Yi Dao took out a gold bar in agreement. That's right, you've heard about the reputation of Chunxiang Brothel. Show us your finest selection. Money is no object. Madam began to flatter them. Oh wow, just look at the appearance of these three beauties. With your grace and attire, I can tell you must come from an impressive background. I have quite the eye for these things. By the way, miss, you look a bit familiar. Have we met before? Sima Yi Dao thought to herself. Even with my face covered, I still not recognized. Ling King stepped forward with the confidence of a seasoned patron. Please don't joke about my friends. They're a bit shy and have never been to places like this before, so they don't want anyone seeing their true appearance. Madame continued to smile, though her demeanor seemed insincere. That makes sense. If they're friends of a stunning beauty like you, I'll surely remember them. Please wait a moment, and I will bring the finest people for you right away. Lu Chunyu asked curiously, Miss Fang, why didn't you directly name Qin Yuan just now? Ling King explained Qin Yuan was just tied up and brought here. If I'm correct, the boss probably doesn't know who he is. If we name him directly, it would make our intentions too obvious, and she could easily become suspicious. Plus, in a place like this, the best goods shouldn't be revealed right away. It's best for us to gradually pressure her until she calls Qin Yuan over herself. Sima Yi Dao praised her. You're really sharp. Also, it's a good thing you had us cover our faces earlier. Otherwise, we might have been recognized after your performance, and even I, as a former castellan, would feel embarrassed. She humbly replied, I've just become accustomed to this. You've both had much higher status than me, so it's normal that you aren't familiar with these little streetwise tricks like I am. The door opened and they heard, Sorry to keep you waiting. I've brought the person you requested. Please take a look. This man is Dao Zhuang. Fang Ling King urged, Stop, stop, stop. This quality is way too poor. Chunxiang brothel shouldn't have this kind of thing. What about this person? He's Ma Jin, a beastman seller from the western regions, and yet you insult us with this dog-like item. Do you look down on us? Ling King turned around. Sorry, ladies, on my way to bring you here, I thought I could show you something new. But it seems this Chunxiang brothel is just a facade. Let's go. Wait, hold on. The madam spoke up. I won't deceive you. We just got in some new merchandise. You won't find anything like it anywhere else in this city. It's just that the energy is very potent. It takes 5 or 6 people to handle it each time. If you're interested, why not give it a try? If you got something like that, you should have mentioned it sooner. I already said we only want the best. Price isn't an issue. Just show us the goods right away. The madam led the 3 women along. Please follow me. It's in this room. Then she called for someone in the front room. Our guests have arrived. Please invite them in. Qin Yuan hurried out of the shower, asking, Do we have guests already? Don't worry, Shi Lu. I'll make sure to take great care of them and help them feel at home. Just as he finished speaking, he was caught off guard. It turned out that he was heading to greet guests when he came face to face with the wife of one of the visitors. Shi Lu reminded Qin Yuan, Little Yuan, these 3 are distinguished guests. Make sure you don't upset them. Qin Yuan quickly urged her away. Don't worry, you know how I handle guests, right? Just leave it to me. After getting Madame out the door, he hurriedly closed it behind her. Turning back, he forced a smile and said, Well, why don't you 3 have a seat? The 3 of them, Fang Ling King and the others, looked at him, clearly annoyed. Lu Chunyu, frustrated and always the first to act, pushed Qin Yuan against the door and exclaimed, You jerk, I worried so much about you, but it seems you're having a great time as a pretty boy here. Qin Yuan tried to explain, Hey, just listen to me for a second. Fang Ling King interjected, Let's hear what a Yuan has to say first. What's really going on? He said with frustration, It's not that I want to leave. It's just that there are female soldiers guarding the Chunxiang brothel all around. If it were just 2 or 3, I could handle it. But there are so many of them, it's like facing an army. Sima Yi Dao scoffed. Why be afraid? If we all break through together, those ordinary soldiers won't stand a chance. Qin Yuan expressed his dilemma. With you all here, breaking through isn't that hard, but I can't just leave like that. Sima Yi Dao didn't believe him. What do you mean by that? Don't tell me you don't want to go. Qin Yuan didn't mean it that way. Of course not. I can't just leave. Because there are many men like me here, forced to become commodities. It's really tough being a man. Lu Chunyu pointed out the biggest problem. Those men aren't a match for the women. Leading them out is impossible. He added confidently, Don't worry, I have a plan. Tonight, we'll put it into action. But right now, let me attend to you all. Having undergone training from 4 mentors, Qin Yuan was now very skilled. He was eager, but tried to act nonchalant. What are you saying? We're here to rescue you, not to entertain ourselves. Lu Chunyu walked over and tapped her shoulder, saying, Miss Fang. She replied with a knowing look at Fang Ling King. After all, we still have some time before we need to act. Sima Yi Dao chimed in. Since we're just sitting around, why not do something to pass the time? Fang Ling King blushed and looked at the 2 of them, saying, You too. Even Qin Yuan encouraged her, Ling King. That lady is very cautious. She might even be outside listening in right now. If we don't make any moves, she might get suspicious. He cleared his throat. Cough, puff. So, dear guests, who should go first? Seia Yi Dao suggested, how about we play rock, paper, scissors to decide? That would be fun. Fang Ling King responded, but that game only works with two people. Seeing this, she and Lu Chun Yu turned to Seia Yi Dao. You have to join too. Are you just going to wait for us to go before you jump in? Seia Yi Dao took the chance to play it slyly. You fools, you've been tricked. Both of them were shocked and scolded him. You rascal. Seia Yi Dao continued to tease the two, saying, tonight you're both mine. Fang Ling King was increasingly dissatisfied. Sister Xia, you're going too far. If you won't make sense, then we won't hold back. Qin Yuan, lying on the ground, trying to diffuse the tension. Let's not fight over this. There's enough for everyone. I promise I won't favor anyone. He formed a seal and cast his spell, unlimited charming technique, transforming one object into three. Oh, Qin Yuan really knows how to save time, they remarked. The group watched in astonishment as one magical item turned into three. Wow, you really live up to your reputation. Seia Yi Dao began to bounce with excitement. So we can't let you be lazy. Lu Chun Yu groaned from her spot on the left. Madam outside was quite pleased, sensing that things were starting inside. It seemed these three were just regular guests. That young man, Qin Yuan, is going to help me strike gold tonight. After a while, Qin Yuan woke up to see the three of them. We can get started now, he urged. Lu Chun Yu groggily replied, are we starting again? Qin Yuan also had to admit, what I mean is, we can start our escape plan now. Seia Yi Dao teasingly remarked, it seems like someone here is still not satisfied. Lu Chun Yu quickly wrapped himself in a blanket, waking up. Don't talk nonsense. Fang Ling King, the calmest among them, asked, so, Yuan, what's your plan? Qin Yuan got up to put on his clothes. You'll find out soon enough. This will be a perfect prison break. He started to whistle, and the flock of birds around them began to gather, drawn by the sound. They perched all around the building. Madam sensed something was off. Why is that flock of birds outside chirping so loudly? But at the end, as long as they don't disrupt my business, I no care. In another guest room, a couple was lost in sleep. Hearing a bird's calls, a man woke up. Is it finally time? In yet another room, a woman was complaining. Go on, scream. I spent a lot of money just to hear what you men have to say. The man heard the signal too. The sound made the woman feel neglected, and she grew increasingly frustrated. What are you standing there for? Hurry up and scream for me. This person suddenly broke free from their restraints and grabbed a whip. They began to resist, saying, we won't let you push us around anymore. Why are you getting so worked up? This is the time for you to lose your mind. A shift occurred. The woman was thrown back against the wall. She felt weak and wobbly, saying, why does my body suddenly have no strength? What have you done to me? The man wiped his mouth, saying, the fruit from that great person is indeed effective. I had already applied the poison to my lips. Didn't you enjoy it just a moment ago? The woman still didn't realize her situation. Where do you think you're going now? Stop. You can't go anywhere. I am your master. The man responded with disdain, not anymore. We will soon be free. The door opened, letting in a beam of light, a glimpse of freedom after breaking away from the shackles of these men. Qin Yuan was now leading three people, including Seia Yi Dao, to this place. Seia Yi Dao still didn't understand. Why did you bring us here? With our abilities, it wouldn't be hard to escape quietly. Fang Ling King realized something and shouted, wait, this is... A few people began paying attention to them. That's... Soon everyone was focused on them, buzzing with excitement. It's the commander, you finally made it. Commander? Since when did you become the commander of these people? Lu Chun Yu snapped to attention. No wonder these guys were here. Could it be that you intend to? Qin Yuan admitted, that's right, I'm going to help these people escape from this haunted place. The women here have been drugged. There's a secret exit, and I'm determined to get them out of here. Everyone was quickly expressing their gratitude, saying, thank you, Commander. We will always remember your great kindness. If you wish, I can repay you with my life. Hearing that, Qin Yuan dismissed it, saying, well, that's not necessary, really. The two young women stepped in, saying, sorry, this flower already has an owner. That's right. Besides, this guy only likes girls. Fang Ling King urged everyone to act quickly, saying, if a Yuan has a plan, then we shouldn't waste any time. We need to proceed and avoid alerting the enemy. Early the next morning in some alley, a wooden manhole cover was lifted. Qin Yuan peeked out to check his surroundings. He began to lead everyone up. Everyone, hurry up and get out. As long as we can get out of the Chunxian brothel area, we'll be safe, he urged. Thank you. I never expected to be able to come out and see the world. Seia Yi Dao exclaimed. It's truly a touching scene. No wonder you wanted to help these men. Seeing their freedom makes me feel a little emotional. Qin Yuan responded happily. It doesn't matter whether they are male or female. I'd help them all. True equality between men and women is what makes a real world. A voice interrupted. How ridiculous. A group of armed soldiers is blocking the way. Men are inherently lowly. If you want to run, don't even think about it. The men saw the soldiers and panicked. What should we do now? We are the guards of the Chun brothel. We can't run and we'll have to go back. Yi Dao frowned. Looks like we'll have to use force to resolve this after all. Lu Chunyu agreed, saying, honestly, I prefer to handle it this way. But Qin Yuan turned the thinking of the two on its head. Well, I surrender. The two immediately started scolding him. Huh? Surrender? Are you kidding? We've said that we can handle this ourselves. Qin Yuan began to negotiate with the soldiers. I've thought it over, and escaping with these guys won't be easy. I want to negotiate a few conditions with you. You can take these people back, but please let these three women have a way out. The leader mocked him without restraint. You really know how to read the room. But if you think you can break the rules of Chun brothel and walk out of here, you're mistaken. Qin Yuan started to manipulate their feelings. You guards are truly dedicated, but despite your hard work, you can only watch as those rich women come to buy pleasure and enjoy themselves at Chun brothel. The more he spoke, the closer he got to the leader. Don't you want to taste the flavor of these men for yourselves? The group of men began to feel confused and fearful at Qin Yuan's words. Seeing that things were going awry, Lu Chunyu stepped forward. I may not want to deal with this trouble either, but if you want to back down now, he doesn't sound very honorable. Yi Dao thought differently than she did. I actually think that wouldn't be too bad. It's just like me to be too lazy to deal with these unfamiliar men. The female leader remained calm. Don't think that using this sacrificial scheme on these guys can sway us. We are, but the subordinates behind her couldn't resist the temptation. Captain, I actually feel that his suggestion isn't bad at all. Besides, if we have a bit of fun with them for a while and then bring them back, it would be the same. The female leader began to waver. What are you talking about? The subordinate continued to persuade her. Captain, this is a golden opportunity. If we miss it, there won't be another chance. We've struggled here for months and our rewards aren't even enough for a single night of enjoyment. Plus, even if we bring them back to Madame, we still won't get anything in return. Why not treat ourselves first? Qin Yuan stepped up to persuade her as well. Captain, don't worry about that. He looked at her gently and said, I know everything. Earlier, when I was showering, you were peeking at me. That scene flashed in her mind. She was completely embarrassed when exposed. Shut up. Shut up. How annoying. I get it, but I'll only give you half an hour at most. You absolutely must not be discovered. The followers were beyond thrilled. The captain has agreed, so I won't hold back. I've already decided who would pick. The chosen men tried to win their favor. Don't rush. Guard sister, I'll serve you all really well. Yi Dao and Lu Chunyu couldn't believe it. This scene was almost too much to handle. These women were truly desperate. Fangling King cleared her throat. Cough, cough. Lu Chunyu asked curiously, Miss Fang, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. I was just reminded of a familiar scene from the past. Now that the roles of men and women have flipped, I find it amusing. Half an hour later, the female leader was out of breath, dancing to the rhythm. Once the job was done, Qin Yuan checked in with her. So, did the ladies think I did a good job serving them? She switched back to business. Even if you serve well, we won't let you off the hook. According to the agreement, you still have to be taken back. Ladies, get ready to head home. But surprisingly, her subordinates had collapsed. Huh, what just happened? She also began to feel unwell. What's going on? I feel so dizzy. Qin Yuan wiped his mouth with his hand. That's because both I and they used a sedative that only affects women when applied to the lips. These kisses are enough to make you feel lightheaded. The female leader unwillingly cursed. What a despicable man. Lu Chunyu asked, so this was part of your plan? He smiled and replied, women have their weapons, and men have theirs. All of this is for the sake of freedom. Fangling King inquired about the next steps. You say that, but what's next? Do you have a plan for where to take them after we get them out? Yi Dao agreed. That's right. Even if these beautiful men manage to escape now, they might get captured by someone else later. One man suggested, Commander, I've heard of a place called Lu Yi Mountain Villa. They say men and women are equal there, with no disputes. If possible, could you take us there? Qin Yuan wondered about Lu Yi Mountain Villa, asking, where is that? Is it on the way to where we are going? Lu Chunyu replied, it's not just on the way, it's essentially the same place. The guardian of the third seal that you're looking for is the owner of Lu Yi Mountain Villa, Yi Zi. She's the third person that Qin must court. He was caught off guard, saying, oh, you the guardian of the seal, actually protect a man. At that moment, Fangling King gradually became transparent, perhaps because her summoning time was running out. The two of them asked worriedly, Ling King, what's happening? Your body seems to be fading in and out. Ling King calmly responded, it's nothing serious, just that the time has come for me to go back. I hope you can come visit me. I'll be waiting for you. Lu Chunyu looked regretfully as she vanished, saying, Miss Feng is gone. I just finally made a new friend. Seia Yi Dao comforted her, saying, Didn't she say that we could visit her later? Once we break all the seals, we can go find Feng Ling King and spend a few days with her. That's a plan. 3 days later, at the main gate of Lu Yi Mountain Villa, a crowd gradually gathered, led by Qin Yuan. As he approached the destination, he felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety, saying, We finally made it, but I wonder what the third guardian is really like. Seia Yi Dao added, Even though the 4 guardians who seal us off usually don't interact, I know for sure that she is definitely not like us. Behind him, Madame's group had just arrived. You better find them for me, she shouted angrily at Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan, I've treated you well, and you tricked all of them away so I could make money. Break them back to me. Chun Yu felt irritated. This is so annoying. How dare you chase us all the way here? I guess it's time for me to teach you a lesson about knowing when to back down. Then a voice called out from behind, That's unnecessary. Qin Yuan turned around, slightly puzzled, and asked, So this is the third guardian? She held a delicate fan. I also want to see who dares to cause trouble at the entrance of my Lu Yi Mountain Villa. Madame threatened these AQ. Even if you were the owner of Lu Yi Mountain Villa, you still have to respect the law. Owner Yi countered, When you were stealing in Minnan, did you ever think about the law? Madame replied, Of course. Men are naturally weak and need support. They must please women, so turning them into commodities is perfectly normal. Yi Sai-Q tensed up upon hearing this. At Lu Yi Mountain Villa, men and women are equal. Once men enter my territory, they are certainly not your commodities. Take your dogs and get lost. Madame persisted, Yi Sai-Q, don't underestimate others. The power of Chunxiang brothel is just as strong as yours. If you don't hand the person over, we will come and take them. Ladies, once we grab someone, I'll let you all have some fun with them first. The female warriors behind her seemed invigorated, all excitedly shouting, Yes, we have a huge advantage in numbers. Even the 4 great masters might not be able to take us on. Ladies, let's go. Yi Zai-Ku looked at them with disdain. Foolish. Years ago, I can crush you. Now it's time for you to experience the power of Lu Yi Mountain Villa. After saying that, she lightly waved her hand. Purple light shot out, sending the approaching soldiers flying, followed by the familiar explosion of clothing from the story. Madame stepped back in fear and asked, What? What are you doing? Yi Sai-Chu confidently replied, I'm not doing anything. No one in this world can harm me. Not Yuna Lil. I suggest you all retreat quickly. Qin Yuan chimed in, Ji Shi Lu, did you hear that? You better go back now. If you don't take my advice, I'll strip you of your clothes too. Seeing the situation escalating, Madame decided it was best to retreat first. Damn it, sisters, let's pull back for now. The embarrassed female soldiers, their clothes in tatters, protested. But Ji Shi Lu, how are we supposed to leave like this? It's so humiliating. You have to at least give us something to wear. Qin Yuan pulled out a bag and said, Since Ji Shi Lu and I have a bit of a connection, consider this a reward for you. Put these on quickly. After wearing the bikinis from Qin Yuan, the female soldiers felt extremely awkward. What kind of clothes are these? They feel so strange to wear. Madame led a group of soldiers but still managed to throw out a threat. Just wait, I will remember this enmity. Let's go. After Madame and her group left, Qin Yuan bowed to thank Yi Zai-Q. I am Qin Yuan, thank you, Miss Yi, for your assistance. Yi Zai-Q responded coolly, I know you. You are the man who defeated the 2 guardians of the seal. Lu Chunyu quickly interjected, I didn't lose to him. It was just a small incident that made me want to help him. Sa Yi Da didn't deny it either. However, while he did use a few tricks, he truly did win. Owner Yi continued the conversation. So, what brings you to Lu Yi Mountain Villa? Surely you don't plan to defeat me and break the seal of my body? Qin Yuan turned to the men behind him. I came to find a shelter for these men. I wonder if Owner Yi would agree to take them in. She nodded. It seems you've come to the right place. For now, let's sit down and discuss the details. As Qin Yuan entered the mountain villa, couples laughed and chatted, moving about as if they were in a new world. He exclaimed, I've been in this world for so long, and this is the first time I've encountered a place where men and women are equal and live together in harmony. Owner Yi sighed, You're right. I'm tired of the conflicts between men and women in this world, which is why I built Lu Yi Mountain Villa. Here, everyone is equal, and there are no disputes. It can be considered an ideal retreat. Given that, our goals might be the same. If you're willing to let me break the seal, I can ensure that all men and women in this world can live together in harmony, not just in this place. Owner Yi immediately agreed, Of course, I'm more than willing to help you. Qin Yuan, who was behind, was delighted. Really? He thought to himself, surprised that everything was going so smoothly this time. However, owner Yi sighed again, but unfortunately, I can't do that. Qin Yuan jumped in surprise. What do you mean by that? You've seen it for yourself, right? I blew those bad guys away, so you must have seen it. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of mysterious technique owner Yi was practicing that allowed her to be so extraordinary. Yi Zhak-Chu calmly replied, I've never trained in any technique. However, I've been born with a reactive body. As long as someone is nearby, it creates a recoil force. Even when I stand still, others can't touch me, especially not a man. Xia Yi Dao immediately didn't believe it. Is that true or just a lie? If you're that strong, do you have the courage to take a knife from me? Go ahead, feel free to make your move. But before she could finish, Xia Yi Dao charged ahead. Then I won't hold back any longer. However, as soon as her knife made contact, an unknown force blocked it. She was shocked, beads of sweat running down her face. How can this be? Then Xia Yi Dao was thrown back, her clothes torn into shreds, leaving everyone in awe. She staggered back, full of questions. The recoil was so strong, but why did my clothes get shredded like that? Yi Zhak-Tu explained, the recoil I generate becomes more powerful when faced with a strong opponent. The harder we collide, the greater the recoil. If your clothes are torn apart, it could be worse. Your internal organs might get damaged too. Lu Chunyu added, so basically, you can't be defeated? But if that's the case, how can we break the seal? Qin, with a sneer, said, Humph, what's so scary about tearing clothes? Then this guy took off all his clothes and boldly said, if I'm not wearing clothes, then they won't get torn apart, right? On one side, Xia Yi Dao chuckled softly. Ha ha, this really fits your style. Lu Chunyu was worried and said, hurry up and put your clothes back on. Don't make me look bad here, will you? Yi Zhak-Chu didn't stop him. Instead, he was curious. It's fine. I want to see what this guy is like. Qin Mai-Su, looking concerned, sighed. How strange, this woman sees a man's body and doesn't even blush. I've been practicing pure heart martial arts since I was young, so I've long distanced myself from those indecent matters. Your body is nothing more than a piece of wood in front of me. Qin Mai-Su struck a sultry pose. Oh, how about this? The system displayed a message. You'll receive 130 charm points. The nearby girls blushed all over, saying, what a stunning body, it's so stimulating. Yi Zhak-Chu also felt a surge of emotions, and his face turned slightly red. Are you going to take action or not? Seizing the opportunity, Qin Yuan immediately acted. There's an opening, gotcha. With a boom, Qin Yuan swung his fist at Ye's shield, creating rippling waves. She remained calm as usual. No one could touch me. This wasn't just talk. Besides, you're just a weak man. Qin struggled, saying, I don't think it's as absolute as you claim. His punch is breaking through my defensive barrier. Yi Castellan stared in shock. That part of her has almost been cleaned out after all this time. Xia Yi Dao watched Qin Yuan in amazement. But life isn't always a dream, is it? Qin Yuan was blasted into the air. No way. In some temple, someone prayed, Oh, divine beings, I want to be like everyone else. I wish I could have someone who wants to be my friend. Please grant me a person like that. With a loud thud, Qin descended from the sky just as the girl had wished. He truly lived up to the title of Heavenly Descent Dashing Man. After the rough landing, Qin Yuan tried to get back up, exclaiming, ouch, that hurt. I was so close to success. The female devotee couldn't believe it. She turned around, saying, this is. Like a starving wolf pouncing on prey, she sees Qin Yuan. My wish has come true. Hey, what are you doing? Without a hint of shame, the girl showed her true colors. If this is a gift from the heavens, then I won't be polite. Inside her mountain villa, Yi Zhak-Chu sighed, no one can defeat me because not even touching me is possible. So you should just leave. Lu Chunyu urged her, no, this kid is different. So far, he's accomplished many impossible things. Xia Yi Dao nodded in agreement. That's right. I also felt invincible, but he has changed my mind. Yi Zhak-Chu sighed with frustration. At this point, I truly envy you both. At least you can be defeated, while I can't even find someone to lose to if I wanted to. Xia Yi Dao looked dejected. How frustrating. Losing to her. Lu Chunyu remained determined. In any case, we won't leave until Qin Yuan defeats you. I believe in him. Yi Zhak-Chu turned to leave. Fine, I won't chase you away. Stay as long as you like. However, here everyone is equal. No one will be at your service, so feel free to wander. That evening, Lu Chunyu paced around the room anxiously. It's already dark. Why hasn't he returned yet? Xia Yi Dao teased her from the side. What's wrong? Did you already start missing him after just a little while? Not even close. I'm just worried. Lu Chunyu replied. Qin Yuan's voice echoed from outside. I'm back. He pretended to be exhausted. Phew, I'm dead tired. Spent the whole day gathering quite a bit of information about Yi Zhak-Chu. Lu Chunyu's eyes glinted with danger. Hey, did you really go gather information? Want to explain what's going on with your face? Qin smiled awkwardly. Oh, you mean this? It's just the price I have to pay for gathering intel. He took off his shirt to prove his point. Don't believe me? Now, you see how much I've suffered, right? Seiya Yi Dao asked skeptically. So, what exactly did you find out? Qin Yuan stroked his chin and thought for a moment. Let me recall. First, Azai mentioned to me, you mean Owner Yin? It's too bad she's so cold. I heard no one has ever seen her smile. Then Shuang told me Owner Yi is actually quite pitiable. Given her situation, it's no wonder she's always lonely. She doesn't even have anyone close to her. Lan and Mai also shared some helpful information with me. They said even though Owner Yi has taken in a few unfortunate men, it seems she has no feelings for them. I find it strange why she even wants to take in men at all. But at least here we've met quite a few good men. Qin continued to reflect, and there's Xiao Fan. She told me that recently there's been a strange smell in the dining hall. Lu Chunyu squinted her eyes and asked, all right, just how many women are you really after? Qin Yuan stammered, I can't even count them. Stai He Dao, filled with romance, wrapped her arms around him and said, it seems wildflowers really do smell better than garden flowers. Lu Chunyu was still held back by her bashfulness. What time is it that you can still be in the mood for this? Qin Yuan pressed Stai He Dao against the wall and replied, that's a good point, but I can't just abandon my people, right? Chunyu, do you want to? She was already addicted, but still hesitant. I'm nowhere near being addicted to those kinds of things. It's just you guys. Qin Yuan wrapped his arms around her, teasing, stop pretending. You clearly want this. She replied ambiguously, what are you talking about? I would never enjoy that. Let go of me. Qin Yuan suddenly turned his head and said, wait a minute, you need to tell me. You don't feel anything at all. Lu Chunyu was still lost in her sweet dream and didn't really pick up on anything. His words made her feel a bit embarrassed. No, that's not it. I mean, I didn't feel that kind of sensation. I'm talking about the feeling of Yi Jia Q being nearby. Can't you sense anything? She has to be around here somewhere. Lu Chunyu then realized Yi Jia Q's presence really does have a unique scent. Right outside the room, Yi Jia Q was indeed standing not far away, quietly observing the room where the three of them were. Sad, Yi Dao couldn't help but tease Lu Chunyu. Looks like your skills are nowhere near mine. I sensed this smell a long time ago. Lu Chunyu stammered in response, I just got distracted by another scent and didn't notice it. Not wanting to joke around anymore, Xia Yi Dao asked seriously, but why is she eavesdropping on us? After all, we are uninvited guests and rivals trying to defeat her. It's only natural she would be curious. But what should we do now? We can't just chase her away. Tai Yi Dao suddenly pulled her close in a suggestive manner, saying, isn't this easy? If she wants to see, let her see it all. Let's find out if she can't stand it or if we can't stand it. Sei Yi Dao's eyes were incredibly captivating. Hurry up before someone can't wait any longer. A little while later, Lu Chunyu advised the two, there are people outside. If someone sees us, it'll be a problem. Sei Yi Dao, bouncing with energy, replied, well, in that case, Qin Yuan, lying underneath as well, said, aren't we already in that position now? She didn't care much anymore, dropped her stuff, and joined in. Damn it, just ignore her. Yi Sai Ku stood outside, anxious, biting her nails. They really have no shame. Finally, she turned to leave, saying, whatever, let them be. No matter what they do, they'll never defeat me. Suddenly, the sound of Lu Chunyu's excited cries startled her. Doing it like this feels weird. Unable to resist her curiosity, she turned her head. No, I don't want to watch. I'm just keeping an eye on them in case they do something sneaky. So, Yi Jia-Q used that excuse to sneak back into the room, turning to watch the chaos unfold like a third world war. Suddenly, the sky opened up and rain started pouring down. The raindrops fell on her without any obstruction. Owner Yi was amazed and thought, is this really rain? How can this be? How can the rain penetrate my clothes like this? Qin Yuan, lying inside, looked at her with a meaningful expression. She felt shy and couldn't help but turn away, thinking, can he see me? Has he found me out? This isn't good. I need to leave quickly. Sei Yi Dao, engrossed in what she was doing, noticed that he was distracted and warned. Why are you so unfocused? Be careful, or I might give you a poke. Qin Yuan whispered, it seems my plan is starting to take a positive turn. The next day, the rain continued to pour at Lu Yi Mountain Villa. Owner Yi walked alone in the rain with a sad expression on her face. Suddenly, Qin Yuan appeared, holding an umbrella over her. The rain isn't too heavy, but if you get wet, you could easily catch a cold. She remained indifferent, replying, it's fine, my body will shield me from these raindrops. Qin Yuan brought up the conversation from the night before. By the way, did you sneak a peek at us last night? Yi Zai-Q felt hit to the core, startled, and took a step back. Ah, I didn't. Don't say nonsense, she blurted. Suddenly, Qin Yuan seized the moment and touched the raindrop on her face. He smiled slightly. It's rain, just as I expected. Yi Zai-Q turned red with embarrassment, looking away as she stammered, Qin Yuan, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean. Qin Yuan quickly analyzed the situation for her. He asked, why is it that your unbeatable aura armor was penetrated by rain? I think it's probably because in that moment, your heart was shaken, wasn't it? Am I wrong? Miss Yi Zai-Q, although flustered, still denied it and stuttered. I wasn't shaken at all. My aura armor has no weaknesses. Qin Yuan unexpectedly raised his hand and gently touched her cheek, saying, then why can I touch your body right now? Yi Zai-Q didn't resist. Her heart raced beneath her clothing and her face was bright red with shyness. Her expression seemed to invite Qin Yuan closer, as if she was saying, I can't take it anymore. She hesitated and finally said, It's because. Before Yi Zai-Q could finish her sentence, Qin Yuan leaned in close and gently interrupted, saying, because if your heart normally weighs as heavy as water, that nothing can break through your aura armor. But if your heart stirs with emotions, your aura armor will reveal vulnerabilities. The greater the weight of your emotions, the larger the gap. Am I not right, Miss Yi? You have stirred my heart. That is why the waves in your heart create openings. Yi Zai-Q stubbornly replied, don't be ridiculous. I won't have feelings for anyone. Get away from me. In an instant, her aura armor burst open, sending Qin Yuan flying away. He landed with a splash in the lake below. Surfacing from the water, Qin Yuan shouted out to Yi Zai-Q with determination, I absolutely will make you have feelings for me. Yi Zai-Q turned her back on him and coldly said, suit yourself. You'll give up soon enough anyway. The scene shifted to the bathroom at Mountain Villa, where Qin Yuan was soaking with several other girls. When the girls saw him, their eyes lit up with admiration. They eagerly whispered, he really is a gift from the heavens. Just look at him. He's so handsome. I can't let this opportunity slip by. The younger girl immediately approached to strike up a conversation. Hey, handsome, I've noticed you seem pretty lonely. Do you need some company? The girl beside her, feeling a bit jealous, quickly snapped, you sly thing, I was here first. However, Qin Yuan, who was wrapped in a towel, didn't have the interest to engage with these girls today. He stood up and said by the lake, sorry, beautiful ladies, but I'll have to pass this time. I have an important task to complete. Once I'm done, I'll come back and make it up to you. The system chimed in with notifications. Gain 170 charm points, gain 160 charm points, gain 170 charm points, gain 200 charm points. As Qin Yuan walked away, he left the two girls feeling quite disappointed. How can someone even refuse like that and still look so good, plus manage to control their desires? It's seriously something people want to have. As he was walking, he suddenly paused and asked, oh, right, I just remembered something. The two girls' expressions changed immediately, and they eagerly asked, what is it? Are you changing your mind? We are totally open to it. Qin Yuan, trying to hold back his excitement, replied, sisters, don't rush me. I just want to ask you something. Do you know what time older Yi usually takes a bath? A few hours later, older Yi arrived to take her bath. She opened the door and stepped into the tub, completely naked. As she stretched and moved her body in the warm water, she thought, today is so strange. The rainwater has touched my body, even though I don't want any contact. Moreover, I can't touch people. Could it be caused by that man? No, that's impossible. Such things just can't happen. Suddenly, beneath the water, dense bubbles began to rise. A dark figure slowly surfaced before Yi Zai-Q. It turned out to be Qin Yuan, who had been hiding underwater, waiting for Yi Zai-Q to arrive before surfacing. Yi Zai-Q blushed in panic and quickly covered her chest with her hands. You, what are you doing here? You shameless person, I can't believe you snuck into my bath. With no shame, Qin Yuan replied, older Yi, don't accuse me. I've always been right here. If anyone's sneaking in, it's you. Yi Zai-Q shouted angrily, stop making excuses. You clearly hid at the bottom of the sea. Qin Yuan responded shamelessly, what's wrong with me liking to dive? He then added, I didn't expect older Yi to not only have a clear mind, but also to be quite fair and beautiful. Teased like that, Yi Zai-Q immediately exploded, cursing Qin Yuan, shut your mouth. You're such a thick-skinned scoundrel. Get out of here. Suddenly, Qin Yuan stood up, deliberately revealing his sword to Yi Zai-Q. Why do you want me to go outside? Are you afraid that seeing my body will make you feel something? Yi Zai-Q glanced at Qin Yuan's sword and awkwardly looked down. What kind of joke is this? To me, your body is just like a dry tree, hard as a rock. Really? If that's the case, what's the problem with me staying here? Unless you're the one who's scared, he teased. Yi Zai-Q shyly closed her eyes, trying to act composed. I'm not scared of anything. You can stay or go. It doesn't matter to me. Qin Yuan continued to provoke her. If older Yi won't be moved, then why aren't you looking at me? Yi Zai-ku blushed and replied shyly, You're not even that attractive. Why should I look at you? Qin, the sewing machine, moved closer to Yi Zai-ku, his sword raised and playfully swaying in front of her face. Confidently, Qin, the sewing machine, asked, Oh, really? But everyone says I'm very handsome. Yi Zai-ku's eyes widened in shock as she stared at Qin Yuan. Alarmed, she quickly used a shield to push Qin, the sewing machine, away, saying, No, don't come in closer. Qin Yuan was thrown back, but unexpectedly caught by two hands that stopped his fall. Yi Zai-ku gasped, You guys, why are you also here? It turned out to be Lu Chun-yu and Xia Yi Dao. Both of them replied in unison, Of course, we're here to help. Yi Zai-ku looked at Xia Yi Dao and Lu Chun-yu and coldly warned, You should know, even if the two of you work together, you won't be able to break my aura armor. Xia Yi Dao confidently responded, Yeah, I know that. But Lu Chun-yu continued, Our target isn't you. As soon as he finished speaking, both of them quickly pulled off the cloth wrapped around them. With a teasing and daring expression, Lu Chun-yu and Xia Yi Dao leaned in close to Qin, the sewing machine, and said, Our target is actually him. Qin, though he liked the sewing machine very much, pretended to be clueless and asked, Why are you two here? Xia Yi Dao put a finger to her lips, signaling for silence, interrupting Qin Yuan and said, Of course we're here to help you. If you want to break down the walls in that girl's heart, you need to be a little ruthless. Lu Chun-yu wasn't as forceful as Xia Yi Dao. She blushed and shyly added, I just came to finish my task. Don't overthink it. Yi Zai-ku, who had been watching the three of them tease each other, decided he'd seen enough of their antics and coldly asked, What on earth are you all doing? Xia Yi Dao replied casually, We're just having some fun. Lu Chun-yu playfully questioned, Older Yi, I'm sure you have no objections, right? Yi Zai-ku replied stiffly, If you want to do that, go somewhere else. Don't defile my eyes. At that moment, Xia Yi Dao threw off her wrap, exposing her ample figure for Qin Yuan to see. She teased Yi Zai-ku, After all, to you, we're just dead branches. Lu Chun-yu added, Or to put it another way, you can't accept that, can you? Yi Zai-ku felt helpless, unable to respond to these two. She closed her eyes, resigned, and said, Your childish games won't work on me. Do whatever you want. At that moment, Xia Yi Dao, completely bare, turned to remind Yi Zai-ku, Just remember to keep your eyes wide open to see this. Lu Chun-yu, with a playful expression, turned to Xia Yi Dao and asked, Should I go first or you? Qin Yuan, with a greedy look, pulled both beauties into his arms and said, Of course, you should both do it at the same time. Yi Zai-ku blushed with embarrassment. She wanted to join in but didn't dare to speak up. Instead, she pretended to be high and mighty and said, What kind of situation is this? With confidence, Qin Yuan glanced at Yi Zai-ku and said, Older Yi, don't underestimate human capabilities. As soon as Qin Yuan finished speaking, the three of them jumped in to sing and dance together like a band. Wait a minute, Qin Yuan, you're really in a hurry, someone said. The seductive sound slipped right into Yi Zai-ku's ears. Standing there, her mind told her not to look, yet occasionally her eyes would sneak a glance. At that moment, her head filled with improper thoughts. The provocative sounds echoed, Ah, I told you to take it slow. Qin Yuan was having an absolute blast. I'm sure you all can guess that Qin was being serenaded by these two girls with a saxophone. Yi Zai-ku could no longer hold back. She turned her gaze to see what the three were doing, but embarrassment hit her, making her flush, and she quickly shut her eyes and looked down. Heh, already addicted but still shy, she should just jump in and let Qin take the lead. Yi Zai-ku wanted to sink beneath the water so she wouldn't see or hear anything, but she just couldn't. Her body was feeling so heated and uncomfortable. As she watched Qin take down two people with a single strike, she thought, Why is my body feeling so strange? If I keep watching, who knows what might happen? All right, if I don't see or hear anything, I'll feel much more comfortable. Yi Zai-ku suddenly shut her eyes tightly, then opened them to look at Qin Yuan. Lu Chun-yu and Xia Yi Dao were entangled with each other, but this time their expressions were strikingly different. It was as if there was no soul in their eyes, completely indifferent to the world around them. Qin Yuan turned and was taken aback by Yi Zai-ku's blank stare. He wondered to himself, could it be that she has no reaction at all? Is her mind completely blank? Xia Yi Dao, with a provocative gaze, was sucking her finger as she looked at Qin Yuan and said, Don't be so hasty like that. Yuan, let's finish what we need to do first. Lu Chun-yu, equally captivated, glanced at Xia Yi Dao and reminded her, Do you forget why we came here in the first place? Xia Yi Dao retorted with a teasing tone, Someone was having even more fun than I was just a moment ago. Caught off guard by the truthful jab, Lu Chun-Yu blushed and defended herself. Oh, I just wanted to tease Yi Q a little. That excuse was only believable to a child. If you've overindulged, just admit it without any shame. Qin Yuan observed Yi Jiaqiu's still body sitting quietly and spoke up, it's pointless. She's entered a state of tranquility. She can block both sound and sight from the outside world, so no matter how much we try to dramatize things, she won't respond. We've wasted our effort. If she truly can't hear or see anything, along with her aura armor, it seems we can't affect her at all, right? Qin Yuan, full of confidence, replied, no, this actually works to my advantage. While her body is in a defensive state that can't be broken, her mind is another story. The sewing machine immediately raised 2 fingers to its lips and closed its eyes, presiding illusionary body magic. At that moment, the scene shifted deep into Yi Jiaqiu's mental world. She was meditating peacefully there, thinking to herself, as expected, the temptations from the outside have no effect on me. Just when she was feeling content and secure, Qin Yuan's voice unexpectedly cut through, just as I thought, you're here meditating alone. If that's the case, everything we presented to you earlier was in vain. What a shame. Yi Q was taken aback, confused about how Qin Yuan could enter her mind. How? How did you get inside my mental world? Qin Yuan replied smugly, what's so hard about that? You think being here means we can't do anything to you? Yi Q felt a flicker of uncertainty within her. She no longer had the same confidence as before. At that moment, she couldn't bring herself to look directly at Qin Yuan. Instead, she lowered her gaze to the ground and said, well, it's not simple for you to get in here, but don't get too arrogant. This is my spiritual world, and here, no one is my match. Qin Yuan replied, an air of confidence on his face. Oh, really? Yi Q then activated her protective shield, stating, Qin Yuan, in this place, my defense is much stronger than in reality. What can you possibly do to me? Qin Yuan smiled and said, your confidence suggests that whatever I do to you is acceptable, right? Although Yi Q spoke boldly, her inner mind was wavering. She thought he must be trying to trick me, to throw my mindset into chaos. I won't fall for his scheme. After a moment of contemplation, Yi Q turned to Qin Yuan and said, if you really have the ability to come close to me, then you can be arrogant later. With that, Yi Q closed her eyes, brought her fingertips close to her mouth, and chanted the spell, Aura Armor, begin. Immediately, the energy shield surrounding Yi Q burst forth with an overwhelming force. The protective energy was incredibly intense and solid. Yi Q looked coldly at Qin Yuan and warned him, I advise you to leave quickly. If my aura armor hits you, your soul will suffer serious harm. At that point, don't say I didn't give you a heads up. Qin Yuan didn't pay much attention to her words. He said nothing at all. Stunningly, he extended 2 fingers, mimicking the gesture of holding a handgun. Qin Yuan shouted, break. As soon as he said that, Yi Jiaqiu's aura armor was cut in half by Qin Yuan. She screamed in pain, and the protective armor over her chest was shattered, ripping open from top to bottom, revealing the curves beneath. Yi Q quickly covered her chest, her face a mix of shock and disbelief as she stared at Qin Yuan. You? How could you enter my subconscious? How is this possible? Qin Yuan calmly approached Yi Q. He said nonchalantly, just a moment ago, you agreed that if I had the ability to get close to you, I could do anything I wanted, right? Yi Q had completely given up her resistance at this point. She looked shy, not daring to meet Qin Yuan's gaze, and asked, what do you want to do with me? What he wanted was all too clear. Qin Yuan suddenly placed a hand on Yi Qiu's shoulder, causing her to flinch and let out a soft gasp, even with her eyes shut tight. Qin Yuan teasingly said, I want to. This made Yi Qiu think of all sorts of inappropriate things. She felt embarrassed and her face turned red as she tightly closed her eyes, thinking to herself, so, what exactly does he want to do? Should I pucker my lips? She figured Qin Yuan was going to do something inappropriate with her, at the very least, to squeeze her in a more intimate way. To her surprise, however, Qin Yuan instead wrapped both arms around her in a warm embrace, leaving her both astonished and disappointed. With wide eyes, Yi Jiaqiu looked at Qin Yuan and asked, what are you doing? Why not do something else? Why are you hugging me all of a sudden? Qin Yuan replied gently, I'm giving you a hug. I know you have this kind of ability, and it must have been a long time since you felt the warmth of another person's embrace, right? Qin Yuan immediately revealed a shameless look. He said, does my warmth make you feel more comfortable? Yi Qiu blushed, feeling shy as she replied, for me, this feeling is truly wonderful. It's been a long time since I've received a warm hug from anyone. I really do appreciate this hug from you. But what is your other hand doing? Qin Yuan, unabashed, came up with an excuse, saying, This is to break your aura armor. Yi Ziqiu, naively believing Qin Yuan's words, quickly asked, You mean you have a way to break my aura armor? Qin Yuan held Yi Ziqiu tightly with one arm. With the other hand, he was exploring, touching her in a way that everyone can guess. He said, Miss Yi, the colder your inner self is, the stronger your aura armor becomes. So if I can melt the ice in your heart, then your aura armor will fade away. As he spoke, Qin Yuan slowly turned around, positioning himself behind Yi Ziqiu, with one hand above and one hand below, perfectly synchronized in his actions. Yi Ziqiu admired Qin Yuan with enchanted eyes and pretended to be clueless, asking, What will you use to melt the ice in my heart? What else could it be but that big round sword of yours? Qin Yuan unexpectedly flicked his hand. The scenery around Yi Ziqiu instantly changed, transforming into a bed with soft pillows ready for the two of them to get to work. He took off his outer coat, revealing his solid six-pack body. With confidence, he said, I'll use this body to help you. Indeed, Qin Yuan's words were enchanting. Yi Ziqiu didn't resist. She hesitated and asked, How can you do this in my subconscious space? Qin Yuan quickly climbed onto the bed and pushed Yi Ziqiu down. He replied, Because your subconscious accepted the transformation I created, I can do whatever I want in your mental space. Yi Ziqiu lay beneath him like a little rabbit and asked, Is this really okay for us? Of all people, asking Qin Yuan that was pointless. He quickly answered, This isn't reality. Just think of it as a beautiful dream. Yi Ziqiu tried to comfort herself, saying, That's right. This is just a dream. Since it's like that, I trust you. Just a little experiment should be fine. Haha. Classic. Addicted, but still hesitant. Qin Yuan laughed. Well then, I won't hold back. With that, Qin Yuan stabbed his sword with the precision of a sewing machine stitching fabric, leaving Yi Ziqiu no choice but to moan in response. She gripped the mallet tightly, her body twisting with pleasure. Why did it feel so real, even though it wasn't happening in reality? As they were caught up in the moment, a Yu suddenly appeared, calling out to Qin Yuan, The timing is right. You should absorb this energy for yourself now. While maneuvering, Qin Yuan spoke to Yi Ziqiu, The aura armor that you've always disliked, let me take it. Without further ado, Qin Yuan raised a hand to Yi Ziqiu's chest, pulling her aura armor into his body. It was a win-win situation for him. Yi Ziqiu, coming back to her senses in a delightful daze, didn't immediately understand what Qin Yuan meant. What? At that moment, a notification from the system popped up, indicating that he had acquired the aura armor skill. Qin Yuan lifted his arm, and Yi Ziqiu's aura armor swirled around him. With a joyful look, he told Yi Ziqiu, The curse on you is gone now. They continued to tumble playfully on the bed until the following morning.